One of the big factors that we liked about this house was the backyard. It's fenced in.
Lieutenant Daniel Burke and his wife Gloria have learned that in San Diego you keep your fingers crossed when you search for a place to rent. They've been searching since June after he got word that the Navy is relocating him to Point Loma from Connecticut.
A formal dining room type place as well. Surprisingly, that's not really how it was working out here. It seems like the property managers don't want to waste their time because the market seems to just be so fast-paced and moves really quickly.
They have 2 small dogs and a cat, so they wanted a house with a yard big enough to raise kids someday.
Kitchen in here.
They ended up in Chula Vista, which still has a large concentration of military families.
It's very competitive. This is the first time we've ever gone to a viewing for a home and had other people kind of show up, and I felt like it was a race to drop an application at certain places.
Living in Chula Vista means that Lieutenant Burke will have a 30-minute commute back to San Diego. He and his wife didn't even look here along Point Loma near his base, which was a traditional bastion of military housing. Military families, though, have been priced out of this market for years. This month, the military in San Diego and across the country will see on average a 3.4% boost in the amount of money they receive for housing. This covers the rising housing costs nationwide, though overall, Congress is actually cutting back. Up until last year, Congress paid for 100% of the cost of off-base housing. Beginning this year, that number has dropped to 98%. By 2019, as part of a congressional budget deal, that figure is supposed to drop to 95%, even in pricey San Diego.
To not give that full amount will definitely mean changes for military families and personnel moving forward in terms of the affordability of living in around military bases.
On average, military families pay 34% more for housing than other Americans. Navy and Marine families are hit hardest because their bases are typically located along pricey coastal areas like California, with San Diego being one of the most expensive military housing markets in the country.
I just don't understand how, a person can get 95% of a house and, just have to suck it up for the next 5%.
Derek Barksdale's real estate firm handles only military clients.
They just need some information on their VA home loans.
Before he retired, he spent 21 years in the Navy, stationed in San Diego.
And I wanted to give back in a grander way, and so this was the way to do so.
He's watched military families move farther away as the price of housing rose. His company is about to open an office in Marietta, nearly 1 hour away from the Marines at Camp Pendleton. And people are willing to do that.
People are forced to do that, and in most situations, to have a home that they can really call a home and have something that's safe and a good environment with good school districts, they're willing to do that.
Even with the rising cost, Barksdale encourages his clients to buy a home rather than rent to get the most out of their basic allowance for housing. He says it's one reason he could justify sticking with the Navy through retirement, despite being paid less than the private sector.
So those special benefits that you get definitely make a huge decision in staying in, because what most people will do if they do away with them is say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get out and do my job scope on another level.
There was a time when the military paid only 80% of the cost of living off base. They've been paying the full cost, though, since 2005. This year, the federal government will spend $21 billion on servicemen living in the community. Congress is looking at making other changes to trim that amount. One of the ideas includes cutting back the amount that 2 career military families receive.
3-bedroom.
Yeah, well, that's not bad.
2.5 bath, right?
Yep.
Daniel and Gloria Burke nervously await any changes.
You just got to be a little bit more frugal at that point. And we're smart people in the military. We can do that.
After months of looking, they were able to beat out 4 other couples and rent their home in Chula Vista. So for now, at least, their search is over. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.